Alrighty guys, my air is on full blast because it's way too hot in here and I'm very sweaty. But this is going to be my very first impression of the new Anastasia Nouveau Palette. This, of course I had to have it. It has like the sage green, like kind of, I don't know, like burlappy type packaging. It reminds me of nature plants. I'm a plant mom. I don't know if you guys know. I'm really into plants, but I'm kind of a new plant mom. Some plants have passed away under my care and some are thriving. So I'm trying to learn and like whatever. I'm getting on a sidetrack. This reminds me of nature, basically. And more importantly, the color story kind of reminded me of my all-time favorite Anastasia palette, which is behind me. It is the Makeup by Mario collaboration with Anastasia, which I just wish they would have brought it back one more time because mine is so old now. I kind of don't want to use it, but I don't know. I probably will still use it. I actually just broke mine. Folding it open, I just kind of like broke the packaging. Like I wouldn't be surprised if this eventually fell off. Like the binding of a book, it kind of ripped along this edge, so that's kind of annoying because I just wanted to hold it up like this so you guys aren't blinded by the mirror. But this is the color story. It's very much neutrals, green tones a little bit. There is a weird lilac pop of color in there, and I'm calling it weird because it reminds me of like my actual childhood putting this like lilac color all over the lid and thinking that I was so cool. Like it was in all of those old like CoverGirl palettes, and that was like my shade when I was 10. So I don't love that lilac color as of right now, but I love all of the other vibes because it really does remind me of the Makeup by Mario palette. This one is called the Master Palette by Mario, so I'm calling it by its wrong name. This is what this one looks like. It does have a bit warmer of a vibe to it and probably more mattes in this one, but the textures of this, like I really enjoyed this. I hit pan on one shade, I think, but the Bronx shade is like that green tone, like subtle neutral green vibe. I'm hoping this palette can fit into my busy lifestyle and be like suitable for everyday wear. Especially I'm like really hopeful for the shade Hope because it reminds me of that Bronx shade out of Makeup by Mario, because I am a big fan of putting that shade all over the lid, calling it a smoky eye, and just being done with it. This intro is really too long. If you guys enjoy this type of video, please give this video a thumbs up. If you are new here, welcome to my channel, and please subscribe to stick around for more videos like this, and of course like skincare, body care, all the other things that I'm trying out. Without further ado, I want to put down a little bit of primer on my eyes and we are going to hop into this first impression. I am going to create a look similar to what I would create with this palette. For the sake of this video, I'm going to go in with the Anastasia eye primer. I'm going to admit I don't use this very often just because of how light of a tone it is. I'm just going to pick this up with an Anastasia flat brush and just mainly focus on carving underneath the brow. Just taking a random brush. This is one of the oldest brushes in my collection. It's like from an old BH Cosmetics set that was like a dupe for Sigma. I look terrifying with this eyeshadow base on. I don't understand. Starting with the matte cream color called Paloma, I'm dipping in with a fluffy blending brush, and I can see that there's a ton of pickup. There's a lot of pickup with a lot of Anastasia palettes. I want to say that they are marketed as like pressed pigments and not eyeshadows, and that's maybe why. Just putting this all over the eyeshadow base so that everything else will glide over with no trouble, hopefully. Taking my favorite brush, this is the Detail Blending E27. I'm going to pick up the shade Fleur. This is a really pretty matte transition shade for me, kind of like a pinky tone beige almost. Really pretty neutral, and I'm just gonna carve out my crease, just carving out above the natural crease line just a little bit and doing some minor blend work. Hopefully I will begin to look more like a human being. With the same brush, I'm going to hop over to the next shade on the bottom row. This is Liberty, and this is like a matte olive green. It has a little less pickup than the previous two shades, but I'm still going to tap off. And I'm going to start by placing this in the outer corner in a dotting motion just to pack down most of the pigment. Once it's mostly off the brush, I'm going to just go into the crease a little bit and take a little bit of pressure off the brush and just try to diffuse. It's always better to work with small amounts of shadow to begin with rather than go in with too much and then you can't go back. This eye always looks better than the other eye. I feel like this eye is always my practice eye, and then I come over here with a better technique. Taking the fluffy brush from earlier, I'm just gonna go right along the brow a few times and then out into the outside. There's like barely anything on this brush. I just want to make sure that everything's blended. I'm going to try picking up the shimmer with a short shader from Sigma. The shimmer I'm going into is Hope. I want to say it's green toned. I really don't know because I am a little bit colorblind. So I am going to fill the space on my lid with this, and we are going to trust the process. Oh, that is pigmented. So initial thought, this is definitely a different texture than the Makeup by Mario or Mario, whatever that palette's called. This is like a true like shimmery metallic, and that palette was almost like satin. Like they just weren't full on metallics. So it was a little bit more day to day, I would say, but this is still giving me similar color tone vibes, and I'm really liking this green shade. It kind of blends itself with this technique just because you're kind of overlapping what you just put down. And I used to wear this every single day to my old job. I used to work at a tanning salon, and I remember I used to wear the Makeup by Mario palette green shimmer all over my lid. I used to get so many compliments. It was like my go-to look. And I do have kind of hazel eyes, greenish hazel brown eyes. So maybe that's why I gravitate towards this shade so much. I haven't swatched this yet, so it's kind of hard for me to say right now, but of course I am gonna swatch it later on for you guys. But so far it's looking like the pigment is absolutely there, the blendability is there. It's doing what I expected it to do, which I'm very happy that it is. Again, with a super, super light hand, I'm just gonna go over this with the same fluffy brush. I brought some gems today to play with. I got these off of Shein. You can get them off of Amazon. They're made for nails, I think, but I really wanted small gems to just place into my makeup looks, and I'm starting to run out of my ColourPop ones, so I wanted some even cheaper ones. So today I think I'm gonna take some iridescent gems and just place them on top of this look before I pop lashes on. Okay, so I kind of did a little like check mark, sort of, with 3 gems on each eye. I'm gonna add my lashes. My lashes are from Amazon, if you guys are wondering. I will link them in my storefront. My storefront is kind of chaotic, but I do have a lot over there. I'm gonna put my lashes on, and then I actually am going to do my base makeup. So lashes and base makeup, and I will be back to swatch this entire thing for you guys. Okay, if you guys want to see what I did for my base makeup today, follow me on Instagram. I've been posting some more reels and tutorials over there. I'm testing out some new filming styles and equipment. This look is something I would wear every single day. I will say, I believe this was $55, which makes it more expensive than previous palettes, but I'm pretty sure this comes with significantly more eyeshadow product in the palette. The pans are way bigger than previous palettes, so I think that's why the price difference. I don't love that I cracked mine, and I really hope that the lid or whatever does not fall off at some point. That would be really annoying, but that, I guess, is my bad for like cracking it past the point of resistance. I absolutely have to swatch this. This is gonna be old school 1x1 swatches. Hopefully I don't go out of focus, but we're just gonna talk through them. I know some people don't like it when I talk through them, but we're talking through them today. So we're gonna start off with the very first shade. The very first shade is Wings. Again, this looks like it has a green tint to it, like a sage green shimmer shade. This is a full, I think, metallic, in my opinion. Oh my goodness. There is the shade Wings. Oh my god, it's so stunning. I love that. Next is the shade Isle. This one's a little bit more unique. This is orange, like metallic, orangey, like creamsicle. Very different. I grabbed way too much with my finger. That's like a jam-packed swatch, but this is the shade Isle. Hopefully it's in focus for you guys. Hopefully I can keep the swatches in focus at least. Next up is the shade Belle. This one I do think would make another really good all over the eyelid type of like greenish, smoky, bronzy. Love it. I don't know how to explain it. Oh my god, these are even more pigmented than I thought while putting these on my eyes. Like, that is intense. One finger swatch. Incredible. All right, let's give it up for Weird Purple. Wisteria is going to be the first matte that I am swatching with my finger, at least. A lot does pick up, a lot of like pick up, kickback, whatever you want to call it. You know what? That is not a bad swatch for a lilac. I feel like these could be difficult to formulate just because they could come off really chalky, but that is definitely a nice pastel lilac. Next up is a really unique looking metallic. I think it's called Lily or Lily. It's L-I-L-I, so that's a little different of a spelling. This one might be like a super metallic, and it's looking a little bit more rosy, bronzy tone. Super metallic is an understatement. These are definitely far more metallic than the Master Palette by Mario. Next up is Hope. This is the shade I have all over my lid. Definitely more of like a foresty green olive metallic, and I'm in love with it. Good lord, these are insane. And I feel like I'm wasting product, but like so much picks up with a swatch and I don't really have to dig at all, so that's good. Moving on to the bottom row, starting off with Paloma. This is the matte white creamy shade. Super, super buttery soft. Next is the shade Fleur. This is a really beautiful transition shade. I don't know how this is going to show up on my skin tone. Also very buttery matte. Next is Liberty. This is a matte olive green. It does have a little different of a texture feeling with a finger swatch. It's a little more, I want to say, dry feeling. Still super pigmented, just a little bit different. I'm excited to swatch this next one, Peacock. It's gonna be super deep, almost, I don't want to say duochrome. It might be duochrome, I'm not sure. It's giving me a whole bunch of different colors. I cannot identify it. You guys tell me what that shade looks like. Next up is Metro, and this is also a matte. This one's gonna be more of like a terracotta brownie nude. Super, super buttery. And last up is Muse, and again, I can't really identify this right off the bat. It's looking like a black satin, but like there's a hint of color in there. I just cannot tell. Ooh, that's so different. My colorblind ass, I can't tell. I'm so sorry, guys. I can't tell. It looks black, but it also looks brown. It looks black, brown, like chocolatey. I don't know. Definitely interesting. This might be a duochrome too. Might have a little bit of bronze in it, like a black bronze. Now bear with me, I'm gonna swatch them on the backs of my arms. This palette and the Makeup by Mario, which I have not touched in forever. I'm gonna swatch them like this so we can compare. Fair warning, not my best swatches. I am hungry, so I'm rushing. This right here is the Nouveau Palette, and I have not done the Mario one yet. Okay, so Makeup by Mario still swatches like a baddie. I mean, come on, that looks really, really good, but you can hopefully see these aren't as metallic as the Nouveau Palette. So the Nouveau Palette has some like really, really metallic shades. This one also has a little bit more of a range when it comes to like light to dark. You've got that really, really dark shade in there. This one, the darkest shade is like a dark green or dark brown, like not super, super dark, but similar vibes. No, this is not flattering for me. One more time, Nouveau and Master Palette by Mario. Cute. So I hope that this was helpful. I definitely think that this is going to be a new favorite of mine, at least for a while. Anastasia's eyeshadows are some of my favorite formulas. Some of my favorite formulas in eyeshadow are Anastasia, Sigma Beauty, Tarte. Natasha Denona is obvious, but I don't like the price of Natasha Denona. So I am pretty content with this. I do like that it has much bigger pans. Let me tell you, it was a lot easier to swatch this palette, but also just to dip in. It should last me a bit longer than other typical eyeshadow palettes, but let's be real, I don't need every eyeshadow palette on the market, but I will say this really fits my vibe right now, so I'm glad that I purchased it. It's definitely something that I will get my use out of. I have personally implemented a 1-to-1 rule in my collection because I do have like a surplus, like an overabundance of makeup. So unfortunately, that means somebody's gonna have to be let go. If you guys want to follow my 1-to-1 journey, then follow my TikTok and we'll see who bites the dust when I replace it with this palette. I don't know if you guys can tell, but when I love my makeup, I have a good day and I'm really happy. So I love my makeup. I feel like I'm gonna have a good day and be really happy. I really enjoyed playing around with this. I was ready to roast her if she deserved to be roasted. I hope you guys know that. I do not like that my packaging broke, but literally everything else I like. I don't love a lilac. It gives me like the wrong kind of nostalgic vibes. I don't know if I will personally dip into that lilac shade, but it's kind of cool that it's in there, and it does swatch good. It's a good quality lilac if you guys are looking for one. But more importantly, if you were like me and this was like your favorite palette of all time, definitely get this because the vibes are super similar. I am freaking starving, so on that note, I'm gonna get going. Thank you guys so much as always for hanging out with me and watching another video, and hopefully I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.